Hello out there in Webland. My name is V. Lynn Hawkins, and today you are in the Permission Movement Experience with me and my powerful guest. And I'd like to just take a moment to formally welcome you, to let you know a little bit about what the Permission Movement Experience is all about, and to let you know what we've got ahead of ourselves. So, joining us today in the Permission Movement Experience, which, as you probably know, is 9 weeks of some powerful training sessions around your story. Write a new story. What we realize is everybody's got a story. Your story impacts you negatively or positively depending on where you are with your story. And part of what it is that we're doing with the Permission Movement Experience is really bringing things together so that the co-authors of the Permission to Be Powerful book raise sufficient funds to launch our project. We have a nonprofit venture that's called Permission to Win Literacy and Authorship Outreach Project. And that project serves girls and women who are in distress. And I'll say it that way because a little farther along and at our website you can see who these groups of women are. And I want you to know this because some of the things that they are in right now is because of their story. And teaching them and those of you in our audience today about story, the elements of story, how your story plays into your business, how your story actually can be used and valued as a huge part of your contribution into the world, into your business and your customers and clients. And how do you do that? Well, one of the ways is through masterminding. And I am so excited today to bring you our guest, who is a 6 and 7 figure woman entrepreneur coach and mentor. She's CEO and founder of An Empowered Woman and publisher of the new web magazine, Let's Talk Success. We're going to be talking today about how empowered women talk story success. Her name is DESIREE DUBROX. And DESIREE has been an entrepreneur since the age of 12. Can you believe that? I do, yeah. Some of us have been just that creative. She's always been the founder and owner of her own business. She's had Marina Mermaid, a Models Media, Looking Good Productions, celebrity auctions, and she's led a successful career in real estate as a real estate broker, investor, creator of seminar series, and she's also lived life. She's divorced mom of 2 sons, and she was out there mixing it up with women entrepreneurs and came to realize that there were very capable, intelligent women who were letting outside forces stand in their way of making and pursuing their own investment choices. And so she started a group that grew from 0 to hundreds with the intention of empowering them to go forward in their dreams. And after growing these groups, during growing these groups, she's had wonderful people like Lisa Nichols, Cynthia Kersey, Bobby Leonard, Les Brown, Dr. Pat Allen, John Assaraf, and other notables who have shared the personal stories, the challenges, and the victories, and the secrets to success, leaving everyone touched, motivated, and inspired. And you know, today, an empowered woman is reaching women all over the nation, actually globally. It's a global networking community and resource center for women professionals and entrepreneurs, supporting women who are in all phases of business, starting, fixing, or building businesses with web TV shows and radio shows and masterminds. And, you know, this is the reason why I've actually called upon her to pour into us today about masterminding. And so we're just going to jump right into it. Greetings, DESIREE, and welcome to the Permission Movement Experience. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much. It feels very Thank you for the invitation. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Well, there are a lot of women who are wondering. Napoleon Hill wrote about masterminds in Think and Grow Rich, and it's grown into people knowing about it, but not so much knowing the value of it. So, how about we start off with you, telling a little bit about your story and defining the mastermind and telling a little bit about how masterminds have helped you even grow your business.
I will do that. Well, technically that quote actually the version from, as you mentioned, Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, back in 1937, he defined a mastermind as a coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. And so there's a lot of reasons why people participate in masterminds. One of them could be because they get more resources from each other, more resources and contacts and things they can gain from that point. They get to share those experiences. They also have the collaboration and the feedback from their ideas, the products, and the programs where they can say, I'm working on this at this time. What do you think about it? What's your feedback on it? What's the pricing should be? What color should be? So they get that kind of valuable information from peers that could be potential customers. It also allows them to, it's accountability. They can set a goal or define, I'm going to achieve this by a certain day and time, and have that accountability partners as a group or individually. And they know when they come back to the table that they'll have that done. And it's also great collaboration and support because many of us are solopreneurs. And even if we do have companies with employees, many of us at the top love that collaboration, love that support, love the additional information, the accountability, and so forth. So there's so many different ways that people can create them. And we can share, my stories have been that I've done it quite a few different ways. And sometimes I've done it where there's two ways to participate. One, as a participant in masterminds, and one being able to lead masterminds. And we talked about the value of participating in them. You can participate in many different ways. Some of them are in person, where you meet every week, every month, a couple times a year, annually, and you communicate in between via telephone, Google Hangouts, and calls, and so forth. Or there's some that you simply do all of it virtually, and you only meet each other like once a year or a couple times a year. It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish and how aggressive your group is going to be. They've been small ones and they're large ones. The small ones are more impactful in some ways because you really get that connection, you grow as a family, where the larger ones, allow you to explore more and have more access to different contacts and resources. Looks like you're about to ask me something.
Yeah, no, I'm really totally there with you. I agree. The two sides of, the value in masterminds as a participant and as a leader, really just being a part of one and the contribution that one can make has been a tremendous experience for me. And I know that there are women who are looking forward to hearing how you've grown some of your mastermind groups.
Yes, we started originally with our members, offering our members a mastermind. I think it was once a month. And we did it. We even had one that was done in the form of a book club where we had different books that they had to read that were business related, and then we mastermind around the tools or to create an outline of that, which is a great way because it got people to be able to get more information. And many times when they read or interpret the book, everybody got something different from the same book or different values or different points. So that was one way we did over the telephone, and then we would meet at the end of the year in one of the ladies' homes and just kind of have a nice little, chit chat from there. So that was one way. Another way is simply having a topic. It can be from a book. It can be from a program. It can be from a series. It can be from your teachings, classes that you teach, where that you participate and they have it's more of accountability and a follow-up where they participate on weekly, monthly, or in person. We have one that we do with our Power 7 program. So they take this class, which is a couple days, and then after that, every Tuesday at 10, we have a mastermind. Because sometimes they'll forget something, they'll get stuck on something, they'll have a win that they want to share, they'll have some problem they want to share, get some feedback on. So it's easy. You can do it over the telephone. It's an hour. They get to share and talk and speak openly, and then introduce themselves each time so they make new connections. but also towards the end, I give them another teaching. I'll tell them something else. I'll review something that we went over before, so just to refresh that in their memory. We've had masterminds where we had our ladies, our six figures, called the Inner Circle, where we met once a month at a beautiful hotel in the penthouse for breakfast. And we'd have a breakfast, and it was limited to 6 ladies, myself, and we'd have a guest speaker. Every month, the guest speaker would be someone from the 7 figures. So what they would do is that they would, first we'd come in and we'd go have our breakfast and talk about, again, what's up, accountability, housekeeping. And then the guest speaker would come in and hear each person talk about their business and then offer different business solutions to them. So it's almost having access to the 7-figure coach through a breakfast and through a leisure opportunity where they can really get that feedback and get that perspective on their business. And they just paid a monthly fee for that or an annual fee. We've had masterminds where we have, again, a program called From Rich, Think and Grow Rich, where we actually started it where in the beginning of the year, we did it for a couple of years, where we went through the principles and everybody got a copy of the book and we had a workbook and we went through the principles and feedback again just to be able to flush it out and to be able to motivate us. So there's masterminds to motivate, there's masterminds to educate, and there's masterminds to create community, just to stay connected. And now, with all the virtual features we have available, like this Google Hangout, things like that, there's no reason why you can't have people from all over the world participating in it.
I love it. I so agree. And I thank you for bringing that to light, because one of the things that I've realized is that men have typically gotten a little into masterminding a little more easily than women do. But I was part of a study that the Catalyst organization did several years ago of women executives, and women executives in the corporate environment, and they added women executives of small businesses. And the survey was all around what would make these women executives more successful. And in order to get to that point, you have to figure out what some of their issues are. And it turned out that the main thread was 2 issues. One was that the women did not feel as though that they were supported through mentorship. And the other was that they felt that they weren't supported because of community. 2 very big things for women and the success in business is being a part of something that can help support you, where you do feel as though you're getting the mentorship and at least the feedback. Even peer feedback is mentorship. And so I love that you brought that up, and the various ways that masterminds have actually been successful for women, or are being successful for women. How did you bring women into this group? You mentioned one of the ways was basically out of your membership in An Empowered Woman. Did you find women that were being attracted to your mastermind groups who were not a part of that program, but who still resonated with your messages and wanted to be a part of your mastermind? And how did you integrate that?
Yes, at some of the events that I would speak at, where they weren't necessarily our members, I would speak at it, and it was a great way for people to get involved and know more about you, as far as, especially if you're doing coaching individually. So some of them wanted to experience you and experience your knowledge and your personality on a more of a hands-on basis before they invested into a higher-end coaching program. But to your point, as far as women participating, I think that men traditionally have been acclimated to belonging to clubs, organizations, whether it's the old boys club, they've been raised with that idea that that was part of building their business. Unfortunately, I don't think women have. I think many of us come from a skill set. Women entrepreneurs, we know how to dance, we know how to do music, we know how to create makeup, we know how to design clothes, we know how to, things of that type to coach. We haven't had that inbred in us as powerfully, I think, as men have, especially for the period of time. Women underestimate the value of masterminds. They know that they talk to their girlfriends all the time about their problems and so forth and whatever, and they get that feedback. But one of our members, Patty D. Dominic, that was featured in our Let's Talk Success magazine, reminds us that the information you get from a friend is great, they're caring and loving and supportive, but it's not the same level of information that you get from expertise, people that are experts in the industry or other business entrepreneurs. And many of us don't have other business entrepreneurs as friends. We have the girlfriend that may be married, that may be a school teacher. She doesn't know our market and the things that we go through. So it's very important to make sure that you have that kind of relationship with some group or organization, that you're speaking with peers, not with people that just love you and care for you and have concepts, but people that are truly in the trenches with you, that know about shopping carts or Google Hangouts or technology or building a business and things like that. That feedback you need, and that's what you find in masterminds. I don't think any successful businesswoman, and I hear it unanimously because we deal with this, all the seven figures, none of them have ever said, and none of them have never, none of them have, okay, let me see, none of them have not participated in a mastermind or had a mentor. So if you really want to know that one secret, and it's unanimously, it's a common thread, every time I ask them, what's the secret to success? It's having a mentor, the proper mentor, someone that is, if you want to be six figures, you have someone that's 6 figures. You want to be 7 figures, have someone that's 7 figures. So having someone that has that knowledge base to be able to take you from where you are to a better place. And they've always had a mastermind and participated in that brain tank type of environment where you're really talking about things besides the weather, besides your fashion, besides relationships. You're really talking about business things. That's going to make a difference in your business.
Well, thank you for that. I fully agree. And it's key. Many women think that, your girlfriends who are, there having lunch with you or whatever are the ones that you can ask these questions to, yet they haven't had the experience. So it's really important. And I agree too. You really need to have that coach mentor. That person is where you want to go. But even more than that, that peer community that you can tap into, that you can actually say, if this was presented to you, would you buy it? Or does this color represent me based on what you know about me? And it's really key. And there's so many women entrepreneurs who have this dream of a successful business and know that there are certain elements, they're moving through the learning process, but they don't see themselves there. Is masterminding something that they should put on their vision board, in their mind movies, virtual vision board? I mean, is masterminding something that they should put in their budget?
Mastermind is the number one thing they can put in their budget. And we talk about budgets. Some masterminds are free. As I mentioned, they come along with a package or a program and so forth. But some people pay, I've known people that pay $100,000 a year for a mastermind because because you have to think, if people are paying $100,000 a year for that, it means, first of all, you're dealing with a high quality person that's serious, and the time is not going to be wasted. Again, the conversations are going to be really specific, and you're really going to grow with that type of people that are willing to invest in themselves. So whether it's from 0 to 500 to 3,000 to 100,000, it's masterminds on all different levels. And obviously, and some of them are not as expensive as you think they are. Some of them are from people that I've known that are really successful people, and they've only been like 10,000, 20,000. It just has to be something in your budget, and one way or the other. That you just take the time and the money to do that, because that's your learning experience. That's your learning curve. That's going to help accelerate you. Why do you have to figure everything out yourself, all the different tools and applications and processes and procedures? Why do it alone? Why take that time to figure out yourself? Why don't you just go and participate in something that's going to expedite that process? And some people belong in 2 or 3 masterminds. Some of them are more spiritual masterminds that keep them grounded and feminine and whatever. I mean, some people are more business masterminds. So there's different types of masterminds. Find what you need and then be able to create or find one that you can participate in. So you don't have to just settle for just one. You can participate in a couple of them to really accelerate your process.
And I think the concept of participation is one that you not only receive from the mastermind, but there's also an element of giving, right? Would you agree?
Yes. Your contribution. Yes, you're contributing, and it's nice to contribute your value as far as your expertise or your experiences or contact or resources. I mean, we have an open Rolodex, and we say, okay, when someone needs a printer, someone needs this and that, open our Rolodexes and we're able to provide that. You're being able to provide it with someone that is has that experience. It's like a great referral to be able to do that with. But it's required that you show up. You need to put on your calendar and show up and give and participate because that makes the value, that creates the value. Everybody has a value there at the mastermind. So participation is something you just have to put on your calendar. You realize the value not only just by what you're going to receive, but what you can give and to support somebody else in their mission and their journey.
That's beautiful. Very well put. It takes me to the next thought of, masterminds are where you give and receive. So talk to us a little bit about how you celebrate being in a mastermind.
Oh, there's many different ways. You mean as far as the group itself, how they celebrate? As far
Well,
as
one of the things you talked about was especially these high-level masterminds. These people are
mm,
paying 10,000 and up to be a part of. They're seriously serious. But by the same token, they recognize that in the process of giving and receiving, in order to move you from where you are to where you're desiring to be, there are certain places where you stop and stand for a moment and celebrate.
yes.
And tell us some of the things that you've done in your mastermind groups to be in that space of celebrating the accomplishments, because any level mastermind is going to reap the rewards of accomplishment. And I
Right.
think that it's key too that, women understand that it's not just get in there and power down and get things done, but the recognition of accomplishment is also a key element.
Yes, and even in our weekly, as I mentioned before, in our weekly calls with the Power of Seven, the first thing we do is the wins. A person can say, "Oh, this is my win." They're excited about, okay, I was able to get booked my first speaking appointment or speaking engagement and so forth. So then we'll give them a chance to say, "Well, how did you do that?" Because it's also a learning process. People do their things different ways. They take the education that you may have given them, but they have, implemented it in their own style. So they get a chance to share exactly what they did, how they did it step by step by step. So not only gives them a chance to get hooray, 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 but it gives them a chance to give it back. And being able to share information is very powerful. It's very empowering. Because no matter whatever happens as a result of it, that's that you're on the throne for that day, for that moment. You get a chance to tell someone. And it also reinforces to you, okay, I did this act and this is the benefit from it. So now I'm going to do more of it. If I did this and got this one speaking engagement, I'm going to do it over and over again to get more. So that's one way of just acknowledging it verbally that yes, you have a win and so forth. And when we meet in person, then you simply have that time as well to be able to have everyone say, the one that we did where we had the inner circle, we actually had a document that they had to start off with their goals, their annual goals, and it was designated by price point, like what they wanted to make. They had to wanted to make at least $100,000 additionally, and then what the plan was to be able to achieve that. And there was accountability every time we came into the meeting where they were at and what they were able to accomplish towards that. And if they weren't able to accomplish it, what they needed to support. And we'd all just say, hey, this is what you need. Well, maybe they'd say, I couldn't do this because I didn't have this, or I didn't have an assistant or whatever. It's okay, here's the number to mine, or here's a virtual girl, or whatever the case may be. They'd be able to contribute that support so they could achieve that goal. And then when they came in, they reached their dollar amount because whatever that dollar amount was, we had to see, did you make that this month? And when they did it, it was like a bell rang off, and it sounds very, elementary, but it feels good. It always feels good to be celebrated, to be clapped, to stand up and do hooray or do your happy dance, and we need that. We need that. We need those strokes, just like, again, anybody else do. I refer to the men because they strive on that. Their egos push them to that, but women have egos as well. And they know that we're going to be celebrating. They'll be going to that meeting, and if we achieve our goal, or even we're close to it. We had one instance where the girl was like $2 away from her goal. So the girl in the room just threw down $2 and says, now, there you got it. So it's just like that kind of support to know that you are going to reach your goals and we're going to support you and make sure you achieve them, whether they're monetary, whether they're benchmarks that you're trying to build your membership or build a brand or whatever they are. But you have that support of being able to reach those goals. and we celebrated in person. We had an event at the end of the year. As I mentioned, with the book club, we just met and we had all kinds of food. It was a potluck, and we celebrated then. Or we have an event where we go to we have one, we did a cruise. It was a Marina Del Rey. They have a yacht, and everyone achieved their goal because it was six figures. We went on a yacht afternoon, which was really, it's only cost them $60 per person to do that, but it was a great win for them. So you can create whatever kind of retreat or whatever kind of celebration you want for that. But it's important to celebrate as you go along,